which is not cool at all whatsoever. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Oh, this is so exciting.
Well, luckily that weather control modification advanced tech called HARP is now in the hands of the good guys. So
it is.
Yeah, so now what we're experiencing is just the elements of the Earth that are going to be recalibrating.
Exactly. And we're going to experience some shifts in the tectonic plates too, everybody, but don't be afraid of that, because one continent is going to go underwater in order for two to rise again. So there was some rumors going around about La Palma, but La Palma is about to become a Mandela effect. And so it's not going to slide into the ocean and sink the Pacific coast of America. Okay, so China is underwater right now. I already saw it in December, as you know.
Yes, La Palma, nothing. The East Coast is safe, protected, just like the West Coast, just like the entire United States, and even Canada and Australia. And a lot of these, and you know why? Because most of the light workers are in these countries. So let me tell you something. The country that will not be spared, that is going to pay, is China. China's going to get the worst of the Earth changes. I'm sorry to say this, people, if you're Chinese, but China has been under the control of the AI for many years. So they're getting good.
So Three Gorges Dam, I received information that it actually did burst on the 20th of last month, Ismael. So the fake media is suppressing this information in order to continue the manipulation that has been happening for centuries. So I just want everybody to be aware of the fact that all of the people who are meant to be out of China are out already. And so they made their safe haven in America and Australia, including Auntie. So that's great. And so let's just be really compassionate, though, to those who are experiencing that flooding now in China, and know that the souls that are meant to be saved will be saved.
Absolutely.
And the children are always saved. They're always protected. So those ones, Alice, the ones that are pure of heart and intention and who have done the work, they're saved. Okay, so even though their physical vessel will deteriorate and not be here, but their souls are here and they are going to act as guides. Okay, so for now, until the reincarnation machine is turned back on.
Well said.
Exactly. So you know more about Atlantis. How much can we share right now? Let's just go hell for leather, right?
Sure, let's do it. Well, in order to understand the scenario that unfolded during the times of Atlantis, we must first go back to 500 million years ago to the constellation of Lyra.
Yes.
All right, so what happened was the first humans that came to exist in our galaxy were the Lyrians. Those are our real ancestors. We don't come from apes. We come from the Lyrans. The Lyrans were the ones that... They're the ones that populated the Milky Way. They planted the seeds everywhere, mainly in the Pleiadians, in Alpha Centauri, Epsilon Epsilon Eridani, the Capella system, the Betelgeuse system, the Altar system, Tau Ceti, Cassiopeia, the Hathor system, the Andromedan system. These are all the good star nations. I can just, the list is long. But the whole point is that the origins of all humanity in our galaxy is in Lyra. Lyra is the cradle of human civilization. So the Lyrans had a very beautiful philosophy of service to others, which is they were in service to the one infinite creator from day one. And instead of using external technology, they were more about conscious-based technology, because they were up to 12 density beings. The original Lyras, they weren't 5th density, they were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. They were all coexisting on different frequencies.
Yeah.
And so this is a planet that was operating on 12 densities during its first initial stage of existence. And what happened was, as the Lyrans were using their conscious and space technology through their Merkaba, through their expansion of their light body, to travel to other dimensions, to travel to other solar systems. At the same time, at the other side of the galaxy, the reptilians were building a vast empire. Well, back then it was called the Draco Empire.
Yeah.
So what happened was we had the Lyrans on one side of the galaxy, and then we had the reptilians of the Draco on the other side. So how did these two meet? They met in the Ring Nebula. That's when they first encountered each other. And so the Dracos, on the other hand, because they were building this vast empire, their philosophy was service to self, which is,
Yes.
which is what we're seeing today. This is what the Cabals have been exercising, for thousands of years, service to self at the expense of the masses, right? And so when they encountered in the Ring Nebula, they had two different ideologies. At first, it was all about territory because they both were very advanced, except the Lions were spiritually inclined, while the Draco were more technologically inclined. So right away, they conflicted. They were two different types of mentalities from day one. And so it started off as a war of territory in the Ring Nebula because the Lions were trying to expand peacefully, trying to bring peace, harmony, and justice. And throughout the galaxy, the Reptilians were trying to counteract and do the opposite and put and conquer and destroy rather. So eventually, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And steal. They're thieves,
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah. Yeah.
And all they ever really wanted was our technology, which is our genetics, right? So they couldn't understand the way that we could travel anywhere we wanted to, the way that we could communicate telepathically, the way that we had peace, and they don't know what love is. And so they were jealous, right? That emotion inside of them put them in eternal turmoil. And that's why you're seeing this disruption that we're seeing now, because we're all here. This is the most exciting time to be alive. It really is. After every single lifetime you and I have lived through, Ismael, we have worked so hard to get to this point, and we made it. And so, I could see through it all from the very beginning. The first ultimate deception on Hadar, which is a planet not many people talk about, and there is a reason for that. Hadar, Hadar.
Oh, yes, that's part of the. Isn't that part of the Cassiopean system?
It's Beta Centauri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
which is close to Cassiopeia.
It is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's the planet of love, right? It is the ultimate utopia, or was, until the reptilians found it. And so, we can talk about that all day too.
I know. It all interrelates.
Yeah, it does. It does, because my father, who's king of Lyra, gave me that planet because my husband and I were too loud, okay? So you can imagine two lions in love.
So that means I was your father in Lyra because I was king of Lyra. I was the Melius son, who was king of Evian, and then my son was the king of Avalon. Well, whoever my son was then.
I know.
That's awesome. So it means you have a father-daughter relationship, right?
Yeah, right.
It's funny because even in Atlantis, I resonate. One of my embodiments during the Atlantean era was Zeus. A lot of life regression and coaches or practitioners. I went to about two of them, and they all said that Zeus was an aspect of me that he was a version of me. One of my incarnations. I didn't know that, and you must have been Athena, or the daughter, right? Aphrodite. So you were the daughter. Okay. So so we still have that father-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
exciting.
So I know, huh? No wonder we resonated from the beginning. I've always felt that you were a part of the council.
I am. That's
awesome.
And so, moving forward, I want to talk a little bit about Mu and Telos and Lemuria. Okay, Mount Shasta, the Hobby Legends, all of the beauty that is within, and so. There was that discord that was happening when Atlantis was in full flight and Lemuria was in full flight. But at that time, Lemuria was far more ancient, right? So 4,500,000 years. Oh, God, I don't know. Anyway, a long time.
It's about 2 million years old. $1 million years old.
Mm. And so through that time, we were developing, we came as the 7 clans, so the family of E. And I am from the clan of the Bright Eyes, and we have returned. And so we came with 7 principles, and we all collaborated with each other. And the beauty of this is that Mount Shasta is only one of the 7 divine peaks that are known here on this planet. It is a portal way and to multi-dimensions, interdimensional portal way, and it is divinely protected. So do you want to move into talking about the difference between Atlantis and Lemuria? Because there was a major difference there, especially when it came to the united consciousness, the unity consciousness of Lemuria, and the technological advancements of Atlantis. And yeah, so if you want to talk about that, that would be amazing.
Of course, yeah. So basically, the Lemurians adopted a Lyran-Syrian-based mentality from the beginning, which was conscious-based spirituality. That's where we get the concept of natural magic, people controlling the elements, talking to the rivers, stopping the rivers, like in the movie Lord of the Rings when she whispered to the river, and the river brought this flood and killed off all those horsemen that were after the Hobbit and her when they were trying to protect him they were trying to protect him so he could take the ring to destroy it, right? And win the war. So it was a similar type of world where it was very magical. They had no external technology. The inhabitants of Lemuria were kind of like the people of the Avatar, the blue people in that movie. They were so in tune with the ecosystem, where they lived in harmony. It was a symbiosis relationship between the inhabitants of Lemuria and the Earth, where the Earth and the inhabitants were one. They were one organism, and they understood that. No external technology. So here's what happened. So what happened was a few Pleiadians, in an effort to bring balance between spirituality and technology, they decided to establish Atlantis. So the original and initial concept of the Atlantean creation was good. In order to balance the mind and the feminine. The masculine, the masculine and feminine.
The left,
mind,
right, and the right.
Exactly.
Right brain, yeah.
Emotion and intelligence. Intelligence being technologically driven, emotional being, spiritually at the same time balanced. So that's what happened when they first established Atlantis. It was an attempt to balance both sides. And unfortunately, even though it was established by Pleiadian, Lyran, coloners from its initial stage, it did experience thousands of years of beauty, harmony, heaven on earth, where everything was in balance. And that was because it was led by a similar type of spiritual council that also was in alignment with the Lemurian continent. Because back then, Lemuria was like the mother continent. So we had Lemuria, which was the mother continent. It was like the reestablished Lyran-Syrian scenario. After the Lyran worlds were destroyed, that's where I was heading earlier. The Draco destroyed. They destroyed our home planet, Abiona and Avalon. So that's why we're here. We're here to reestablish what we lost. Exactly. So basically, what happened was the Atlantean attempt was good. Lemuria was heading the different colonies. We also had the U colony in what we call today Asia. We also had the Rama colony in what we call today modern day India, and we also had the Yucatan colony, which is today Mesoamerica, Mexico, Central America, and so on. So we had these 5 colonies coexisting with Lemuria being the head of the colonies throughout. It was a global type of stellar society. We had ships coming to and fro from different solar systems. It was magical. This was back then when the Earth was still part of the Confederation of Free Worlds and positively interacting with other star systems. But what happened, again, all roads lead back to the Draco Empire, right? When they were so there was, at the same time, they built Atlantis in an effort to balance feminine, masculine, technology, spirituality. There was a full-scale war going on in Orion between the Draco-Orion Empire, which was led by the reptilian forces, and then, of course, the Galactic Federation of Free Worlds, and those that were trying to preserve their freedoms throughout the galaxy. So that was a full-scale war that was happening while they were establishing Atlantis. So what happened was some of the Dracos managed to infiltrate Atlantis from within. And so little by little, after the infiltration, they overthrew the spiritual council, which was run by the Order of Melchizedek, which is the priesthood of righteousness and freedom, where you had the high priestess and the high priest. And when they overthrew the Order of Melchizedek, it took about a few hundred years, maybe 500 years. And then after that, Atlantis went from a golden age into a dark age within a few hundred years due to the infiltration. Yeah. And after they were taken over from within, the leadership of Atlantis, instead of being led by a spiritual council, it was led by a technocratic / black magicians, all being run by the Draco. Yeah. So they were implementing some horrible advanced draconian tech mixed with black magic, and it was just horrible. And so what they did in an effort to establish themselves as the dominant colony is they first destroyed Lemuria. And how did they? Yeah, they did that by harnessing crystal, a crystal type of tech, because they were really advancing crystal technology. And so they used this AC tractor beam to bring in the second moon, because back then Earth had 2 moons. We had 2 satellites, even though they're both artificial. And so they brought in this moon within the vicinity of Lemuria, and they told Lemuria that if they don't submit to the new Atlantean power, which was the technocratic black magicians, conglomerate, kind of like the Rothschild conglomerate today, that they would destroy them. And so the Lemurians tried to prevent that through a diplomatic way. Of course, it failed, and then Atlantis just, they used that tech to drop that second moon, imploded it over the continent of Lemuria, and that's how they destroyed Lemuria. But because the Lemurians, most of them, were so spiritually advanced, they foresaw the attack psychically, mentally, telepathically. And so what they did is they created the first underground. They created what we know today as Telos and Shambhala. They created inner Earth cities. So they were the first ones to go into the inner Earth, which was about 50,000 years ago, by the way. It's Earth history, 50,000 years ago. And then Atlantis was trying to do the same with the Yu Empire, which is in today what we call China region. But in the nick of time, that's when Nibiru, back then when Nibiru was the Battlestar planet for the Syrian High Council, was assigned by the Galactic Federation of Free Worlds to protect not only our solar system or the system of the system of stars that we belong to, but other solar systems. So that's why it came in every 36,000 years, because when it wasn't in our solar system, it was out patrolling other solar systems.
It was doing its thing, exactly. So just in the nick of time, right?
Yes, exactly. And so what they did is, this time Atlantis was able to use the same advanced AC tractor beam to bring in one of the asteroids, a huge asteroid, from an ancient planet that blew up that was known as the Super Earth Tiamat. Which actually that was the Earth before the Earth, by the way. Most people fail to realize that the Earth formed out of the chunk of the exploded planet Tiamat when it was destroyed in one of the earlier galactic wars going back to 2 million years ago. But I cover all that in my book, by the way.
Yeah, you do, absolutely.
And so that's how Atlantis was destroyed. They destroyed themselves.
And they did. And so when you're talking about the tractor beam, so most humans know that as nuclear weapons, and so we know it as the tractor beam, but that's essentially what it was. It was a war, and we were trying to bring peace and balance, but there's no reasoning with the Draco reptilians. There's no reasoning because they're psychopaths, so they literally always think they're right. They've got no emotional capacity, and so they're known today as on the narcissistic scale of consciousness is psychopaths, right? And you cannot reason with them. There is only one cure, and that's just to cease to exist. And so when we realized that, and when Lemuria went down, so Lemuria is actually, Australia is one edge of it, and that's why I'm here. And it extends all the way through the coast of here, including New Zealand, the Pacific Islands, and all of that. It's beautiful and amazing here. And so, do you want to talk about where Atlantis is currently?
Yes. From what I've discovered is that a huge chunk survived, and that is what we call today the Antarctica.
Yeah.
Antarctica was a surviving remnant piece of Atlantis. The other chunk fell into the ocean. But get this, the chunk that fell into the ocean, some of these Atlanteans were so advanced that they were able to modify their body through their light body to become aquatic beings. So when people watch the movie Aquaman, there is an advanced civilization in the ocean, which was a remnant civilization of Atlantis after it was destroyed. I know some people are going to be like, what, you mean mermaids and mermaids are real?
Yeah, they are. They are.
And so is the Sasquatch.
Sasquatch is real too. Like everything that has been told to you that is a myth or a legend or a fairy tale is true. So I hate to say it, everybody, Hansel and Gretel is true. They're all true, right? Because the third dimensional brain has no capacity of imagination. And so the stories that were given to children, because children are so close to the veil, and so their imagination is awake and they're all there with it. And so the problem with fairy tales, and I mean, I heard them all as well, is that the children unwittingly continue the cycle by listening and receiving these fairy tales and then imagining them. Okay, so this is another part of Lumerial move, is that the power of imagination is creation. And so that also comes down to all of sorts of other things like your divine sexuality and recognizing yourself in the mirror. And so, that's right. And so...
2 thumbs up. Absolutely great.
Yeah. And so our children, sadly, were continually self-perpetuating the cycle because the parents or, the mother and the father of the children, they didn't know any better. And I remember turning around to my mother when she was telling me these stories and I said to her, stop it. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't like it. She just couldn't understand. Like, she was talking about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty, all of these fairy tales, right? And I could see fairies from a very, very young age. And so for me, I knew instantly that it was real. There's that. So I guess we talk about the language of Lemuria. So there's a root language of everything, which comes from Hebrew and Sanskrit. And it's called Solomeru, and that is the way that Lemurians...
Wait, say that again? I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, it's called Solomeru, which is the language that they speak currently, but the original language obviously is telepathy.
Oh, I just learned that. I didn't know that was the actual name for the language.
Yeah. So, and it comes through. So Sanskrit and Hebrew came from Solomeru, and so it's light language. It's solar, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So basically, it originated in Mesopotamia because Mesopotamia, or what we call Sumeria, became the inheritors of the remnants of the Atlanteans. Also, them and the Egyptians, of course.
Yeah.
So can I show something about Atlantis real quick that people need to know?
Yes, please.
Okay. So basically, when the dark forces infiltrated and took over Atlantis, a group that was led. Light warriors was led by Osiris. So Osiris was the one, because he lived during the time of Atlantis, by the way. He came from Orion in Syria. And so what he did is he took a group and he went into the underground, and then later they resurfaced as the Druids of ancient times, Merlin and all that stuff. So the ancient Druid cultures, the people that built Stonehenge, Asbury, and all those megalithic structures in Great Britain and stuff, they were all done by Osiris's followers, and then they went to Egypt. So this is going back to thousands and thousands of years ago.
It is true. So it is true.
Yeah. So that's why there's a correlation or a very good resemblance between the ancient Egyptian mystery schools and what the Druids used to teach and study as a spiritual advanced community during the pro-European civilization era.
True. Very true. And I just would like to clarify with everyone this truth is that the fake queen, who is about to die, by the way, she's been executed. Anyway, and buckle up.
Oh
anyway,
my ancestors have been, our ancestors have been at war with these Illuminati families for millions of years. Actually, it goes back to Lyra. I swear.
It does. It does.
But now we're going to.
And they've wanted us for that long. They've wanted us for that long. They can just fuck off. Anyway, so the fake queen is. So you can see, if you I don't read magazines or watch television really at all, and so exactly, she's not the queen anyway. She's queen of them.
No, she's not.
And so
she's a reptilian. She comes from the reptilian lineage. Yeah. She's the reptilian in the Orion Confederation or the Orion Empire, but not in our world, of course.
Yes, exactly. And
but her time is up.
Her time is up. It's amazing. That whole family is, right, all of those 13 families of the cabal. And so if you look at with open eyes, okay, so even if you're like at the cash register in the supermarket, you'll see like the stupid tabloids magazines, and you can see the cover of each single one right now is talking about that thing. I'm not even going to call her a woman because she can't even breathe. And so anyway,
let's call her a Lizzie.
Pardon?
Let's call her a Lizzie. A Lizzie.
Well, her name is Elizabeth. Let's be real.
Elizabeth the Lizard Queen, right?
I just laugh my ass off. Like, whenever I look at any of those disgusting ones, and I'm like, you guys, like, you're fucked. Excuse my language. Whew. Anyway, it's super exciting. What a time to be alive. You're confused. There's nothing to be confused about. Anyway, I'm not going to look at comments right now. So what else do you want to join in? I'm so excited. This is amazing. I love you, Ismael. Thank you so much for joining today. You and I have been waiting for our time, haven't we? You know, we have. And when we first reconnected, it was just, we recognized each other instantly, and it was just this slow moving into ourselves again and just communicating, and not only in this realm, but in other dimensions as well, because we've been fighting across the board, you know. I remember fighting in the Galactic Wars. I remember my ship. I remember it. I know I'm a chief commander. I know this. And so it's amazing, and it's so amazing too that we managed to secure the tech enough to reconnect with each other across the realm, because we lost the gift of, well, we didn't lose it, it went to sleep, the telepathy, and I know that it's awakening now because we are able to do that. And you know, you look at synchronicities, you look at numbers, the numbers don't lie, and so you just know that we are so on the right path right now, and it's beautiful and amazing. And I knew when we won the war, and you did too, because we were there. And so it's like, we're fucking high-fiving. It's like, we did it. Like, now we've got to wait for everyone else to catch up, you know? And then when you announced it, and then I could go forward and start announcing it, and we could announce ourselves, which is amazing. What a gift. And so, I mean, yeah. Oh, my brain is just going, whoa. Yeah, children that are born, yeah. And so you're in the thick of the 11:11 portal right now. What time is it there? 7?
Right now it's, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be 7 over here in Southern California, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Amazing, amazing. Autistic children are amazingly gifted, and they are coming into themselves. So they have deep connections with Arcturus and that higher intelligence, right? And so whilst they may not fit in to this, well, what was the realm, they are coming into their own, and they are the ones that are builders. They are builders, and they have obsessions, but they're not negative obsessions. For instance, my son, who is 13 now, he is amazing and he loves trains. And the most exciting part of that is that I know about the train in Nagata. I know about the train that goes warp 7. We can get anywhere in the realm in under an hour. I know about this, and I cannot wait for him to discover this, because I believe he's the way. He's going to be the ticket master. Like, he's going to be the one who goes, yeah, you can travel, you can go, you can't. Like, because he can see through people and he can see their heart. And so it's just amazing. So don't ever discount our beautiful autistics. They are amazing. They're mystics. Autistic, mystic, words of spelling. Yeah. So,
and they're a gift. They're a gift to the world.
They really are a gift to the world. And I wouldn't change my son for anything. Like, even through all of the turmoils that we had, because they have, they don't have an unstable soul, but they can have walk-ins come in. And so because I slay demons, and that's what I do, and that's part of my role. And I had to, it was such a challenge with him. Yeah, I know. And so, you know, I saw them come through him to try and attack me. But I always knew it wasn't him. So, you know, he's divinely protected himself. And I already know this. So we're all divinely protected. So anyway, I feel like I know I'm having wine. I know, I'm so happy. Oh, it's just beautiful. So I just wanted to add into a couple of things about Lemuria, about the diets and how lions actually sleep with lambs. The animals there, they don't eat meat and they don't war. And the reason why they won't come up here is because of the state of affairs here, right? Of the wars, of the negative entities, right? And they are so evolved in their, in all of it. And so you'll see the lirans, the lions, down there resting with lambs. They are not predator and prey. They are literally loving life, right? It's heaven and beauty. And it's rising. So this is so exciting for everybody. Yeah. And so basically, it's so true. And according to also the Pleiadian agenda, so smoke is sacred. It comes from Gaia. So smoke is sacred and can cleanse the land. And so that's why we use sage sticks. That's why we smoke the soil. That's why, you know, all of this, okay? And so they're also, wine is sacred as well, which is why I drink it. I love it. I can't do that anywhere else, but I'm doing it here. I love it. But I realised too that unless we are balanced in ourselves, it can be a very, very, very negative, okay? So, yeah, that's where the divine balance comes in of the masculine and the feminine within ourselves. Like, I'm not talking about twin flames or soulmates or anything like that. I'm talking about within ourselves, because we all have both elements, you know, and that's what makes the whole. That's what makes the one. And so, and we are all part of one. That is where we come from. That is where we come from.
Yes, and that is where we're heading.
That is where we're heading. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And so, also, I guess, speaking about words being spelling.
Yes.
And very so, powerful. Very, very powerful. So, especially as we're going, for me, the 1111 portal is still open, because it is still open. And so, knowing, you know, words are spelling, literally magic, okay? Magic. So be careful of what you say, be careful of what you think, because we manifest in here, and your thoughts and actions do bring forward repercussions, okay? So I found something really interesting, because I always find spell check very, very interesting, because I like to just see what it comes up with, and predictive text, right? Because, yeah, it's kind of fun. Anyway, so veil. So everybody has had things against women who have worn a veil. Okay, it's very powerful, because veil literally means woman, right? The veil, when you talk about the veil, and we're coming into the age of Aquarius, we're already in it, okay? So the age of Aquarius is the age of the divine feminine. We have risen again. And so when we talk about the veil is lifting of the divine feminine. And the word veil, so if you type veil in and you get a predictive text, it will say woman, right? It will tell you, right? They have put everything out there. Everything is out there now. There is no excuse for anybody to pretend they don't know, because it is out there. And so when we realize that,
I was just going to say, ignorance is a choice now, you know. All knowledge is available.
It's not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. No? That, you know that saying?
It's a choice.
It's not hell. It is hell.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. And we were forced to be ignorant for such a very long time. Even myself, in my childhood, when I had to be shut down. But anyway, let's not go there. And another beautiful thing about Lemuria is the children are teachers there.
Yes, they were.
Children,
they were. I think every child that was born into Lemuria was already fully awakened.
Exactly.
Fully awakened.
fully. And even when they cried, we could hear exactly what they wanted. So for me in this lifetime, I am a baby wearing consultant. I've always advocated for natural parenting. I handmade baby carriers and I advocated for that. I mean, yeah, baby wearing consultant. I went through the school Das Truckerschule in Germany. And so I learned how to do that, learned how to teach so many families how to really bond with their babies and not be afraid of them crying. Because when they cry, they're telling you something. You know, they are telling you something. And they have different levels of crying and you can detect it. When you know this, when you're not in fear of them crying, oh God, the neighbours are going to be upset with my baby crying, or we're on an aeroplane and your baby's crying. Your baby's crying. Come on now, be nice. Be nice. It's not very hard to be nice to babies. And so realising that they are so pure, they have not been indoctrinated, they have not had any external, any external elements or anything like that infiltrate into themselves, into their souls. And that's what makes them so precious. And that is why they are saved. That is why they are saved. Our children, we all came back here to save the children. And we all came back here for a reason. But we were also children too once. And so that's that beautiful thing. Anyway, what do you want to talk about now? I'm just ranting. I'm so excited.
It's okay. I love listening too. You know, learning and knowledge is a two-way process. You know, as much as I like to teach, I like to learn. So, you know, it's one of those things where we're all working together. We're all learning from each other.
We are. And just taking what resonates with you on board and learning how to decipher what is reality for you, because we're all creators. We all create our own realm, and that's right. And we only really need
our own universe.
Exactly. Yes. It's so exciting. And so, okay. I'm going to sit with you now and just let you talk because I need to just.
Well, the beauty of the times that we're living in is that what we failed to do in Lyra, what we failed to do in Atlantis, we're accomplishing it now. That's the beauty. Yes. That's the message. Is that we won the war. Yeah, they destroyed many of our worlds. Many worlds in Orion. You know, Mintaka was destroyed. Worlds in Sirius were destroyed. Worlds in the Pleiades were destroyed. Hundreds and hundreds of worlds were destroyed. But you know what? That's why we all incarnated on the Earth at the same time to win this war, and we did.
Yes.
And so now the victory is ours. And guess what? From this Earth, we're going to be repopulating the Milky Way galaxy because, as mentioned in my book, about 80% of the galaxy was preserved by the Galactic Federation of Free Worlds in order to, secure the existence of many star systems and solar systems, because many worlds were blown up in the process. You know, it's not like we were dealing with guns and tanks and atom bombs. I mean, we were dealing with particle weaponry, laser. We were dealing with types of explosives that were able to explode an entire planet beyond plutonium.
Yeah.
The technologies that were used by these Dracos, I mean, they were playing dirty because we were using consciousness. We were like the Jedis, right? It was all consciousness-based. We didn't need technology, but they were using all external technology, so it was like the clash. But in the process, many worlds were destroyed. You know?
Big time.
Yeah. But, those worlds are all going to be restored. Like from what I understand is when the Earth ascends here, the entire galaxy is going to ascend, and everything that existed prior to the Galactic War is going to come back into existence fully intact. How does that sound?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's the good news. That's the good news about, winning this war.
Yeah, it is. It is. And everything just has to play out now. So we're still trying to awaken as many souls as we can. And, things are going to move very, very fast, which it's meant to, okay? Hello?
At light speed. Things are just going to be accelerating. Because we're hitting 0 point. I believe that it could be in the next few weeks at winter solstice. That's going to be...
Yeah, I believe around the 12th.
Yeah. We can send it to 19. See, our minds are thinking the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
12 of the 12.
Aphrodite, you haven't changed, daughter.
I haven't.
Well, Aphrodite holds the scales of justice, right? Yeah, so
Yeah, I have my hammer.
that's awesome. You have your hammer, and I have my lightning bolt.
I know.
Oh, by the
And
way,
it's
I was
amazing.
able to get my lightning bolt back. It was restored.
No, I got my crown back. I was working with
That's
Janine.
awesome.
Yeah, I was working with Janine in the Akashic, and it was amazing because I got my hat back and I healed it. So it went from black to white, and I accepted it and took it back and took it. And then I received my wand back, and I healed it, and of course I took it back. And then they brought me my crown, and it was the most amazing feeling. And I remember at the end of last year when I re-met my soul family with my 144,000 are all very close to us, right? Because they're soul family, we recognize each other. And so many of us know them in real life, in this life, right? And so I was up in Toowoomba and I reconnected with them. And literally, Alex just turned around to me and he's like, they stole your crown, you were rising and you were taking it back. And this is last year. He'd said that to me. And it was amazing. He was just like in the darkness. So he's the first son of the first son of the first son of an Indigenous man and the first son of the first son of the first son of an Maori. Okay, so he is very connected. And he was just lying on the lounge.
Sounds like he's also a royal.
He
It
is.
sounds like he's royal, royal blood.
He is. Definitely. And he's not very active on social media. He's more on Facebook. He's definitely not on Instagram. But anyway, yeah, it was just such an amazing day that day. And it's when he said that to me, I just resonated. And I was like, yeah, hello, that's why I'm here. So taking my crown back.
And we all are. All the starseeds are. Because I want all the starseeds to know that, it's the 144,000 are the royal seed of the galaxy, hence the universe. Multiverse, if you want to go deeper than that. We are the royals of the multiverse, We are the kings and queens that are going to be rising. But we're not just rising like mortals, we're rising like immortals. And in fact, those movies that are being put out by Marvel, I haven't seen the Eternals yet, but those are all movies
No, I
about
want to watch
us.
the Eternals. Yeah.
We are the Eternals.
Yeah.
We are the Eternals that have incarnated in human form, people. So we are the ancient guardians of the earth. We are the ancient guardians of the universe, and that's why we keep coming back. So even when you came as Aphrodite, I was Zeus during the Atlantean times. Well, what was my chief role during that? To be chief guardian of the earth. Okay,
Exactly.
So we have returned, and now we are currently in these physical vessels. But this is just temporary, people. Once we transform, once that solar flash releases that final signal, and our messaging turns on, oh my God, it's over. It's over for all darkness.
Exactly. And so, talking about becoming meta, I have had many experiences where, as a little, I levitated, I can manipulate time, I can create storms, I call it Hadouken. I've thrown energy from my hands, I blew up television, I've fixed lights, I've worked with energy and with electricity. I coincidentally was actually electrocuted as a teenager, and so I don't know whether that turned that part on because I couldn't do that as a little. And so it's one of those things. Rainbows are our ancestors saying hello. Anyway, sorry, I was just reading a comment. And so these parts of us are going to awaken. You just have to believe in them. And the most beautiful part is I'll be in the barbershop and I'll just have my little guys that come in, the little kids, and I'll say straight out to them, so what's your superpower? And they're like, oh, I've been thinking about this. And I'm like, go! Think about it. Manifest it. Because it's amazing. And so it's just one of those things. So if you want to talk about that would be amazing. Because I know I freak people out with what I know, because I didn't really have a filter for a long time. I'd lost jobs, friends, everything like over it because I just freak people out. So if you would like to talk a little bit about metahumans, that would be amazing.
Sure. Yeah, of course. So basically, the gods of mythology left a seed behind. They had many children, and their seed multiplied throughout the generations. And now their seeds exist in the form of us. You know, we are through the blood. They exist through our blood. So, as descendants of the ancient gods that left their blood behind, we are the culmination of that. We are going to be, you know, the religious people are going to call us angels. The scientific community is going to call us Homo galactus, or they might even call us mutants, right? Due to the X.
Yeah, probably.
Mutants. Oh, there was a mutation in the gene. That's the only scientific explanation, is that they mutated. They started using more than 4%, and now they have powers. No. And you know, so every group of people is going to know us under different names when we do transform into meta. So the word meta, going back to the original Greek translation, means superhuman, you know, godlike, super humans with godlike powers, in other words. And so that's what the original translation of the word meta. So in my book, when I describe how, in one of the chapters, the rise of the angels among us, I'm talking about the rise of metahumans, which is the original oracle that was prophesizing about the return of the Elohim and Elohimness, gods and goddesses. So the whole team is here.
Yeah, we are.
So when they're saying, you know, we're expecting the second coming, we're expecting the saviors of the universe to return, you know, right? They're talking about us. Every religious text that talks about this prophetic event that is going to mark the next stage of human evolution is referring to us.
Exactly. And I just want to reply to a comment here. Meta in Hebrew means is dead. Well, a lot of the languages were corrupted by the Cabal. And so meta does not really mean... Okay, so obviously they're going to take that and change it because that's what they did. They manipulated and gaslit and did all of those negative things. So I wouldn't personally look at Hebrew as any kind of benchmark of language because Sanskrit is more pure, and there's as we were talking earlier, you know, Solomeru is a combination of Hebrew and Sanskrit, and that again is the left and the right side, and so the left side being Sanskrit, which is divine feminine, and then the right side being Hebrew, which is masculine. And I'm not going to even call it divine masculine. I'm going to call it corrupted masculine. Okay? Now, we don't need to go down that route right now because it doesn't exist anymore. But just be careful. Exactly. Meta is mother. Thank you. Nice. Do you know what I love about the comments?
Yeah, meta also means...
Yes, you go.
I was just going to say, that's the term that the scientists use to label the mother universe. They call it the metaverse.
Metaverse, exactly.
Yeah, motherverse, yeah. Which is the overall universe in which all the local universe came from.
Yeah.
Or existed.
Exactly. Oh wow, we've got 111 people watching right now.
Thumbs up. And they all know they're part of the 144,000, right?
Yeah.
These are all superstars.
Absolutely.
We are rising, people. This is a time to celebrate. Our portal just opened up. I don't know if you guys felt the shift this morning or yesterday for you in Australia.
Yeah, I felt it.
But my vibration has been like on an all-time high. Like I don't know what the heck's going on. I'm about to just start levitating, if you don't mind.
It's like, yeah.
I felt that way all day. I felt like I just wanted to defy gravity.
I know, it's wild because I kept on messing up our time too for this, and I'm like, and you're like, hang on, it's not in 6 hours, and people are messaging me going, oh, that's 3 a.m. my time. I'm like, no, it's not. And then I look at it, I'm like, oh, it is not in 6 hours, it's in 12 hours. Do you know what I mean? So normally I've got a grip on time, but even just at this point in time, I'm like messing it up everywhere. Like I'm never late for anything. I'm able to bend time, all of that kind of thing. But at the moment, it's just going crazy. And that's just got to do with all of these energies and all of our star seeds awakening to their own selves. Because this portal...
Sovereignty.
Exactly. Exactly. And we have been working to build a race. We have been working really hard, especially through this portal, which was 11 days, started on the 1st of November, completes at midnight, your time, which is not very far away.
We're not done with it yet. We're still, in about an hour, we're going to have 100 people doing a group meditation where we're going to create a synthesis of just powerful energies. And we're just going to open up those stargates and connect heaven to earth. Yeah, it's
beautiful. Beautiful. That is amazing. It's amazing. Oh, everyone's loving the 111s. Well, we all are one, aren't we? So I want to talk a little bit about Lemurian seed crystals. Because right now they are being...
Well, because they were very advanced.
Yes.
Wait, say that again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. The crystals, they're being taken down? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're being found and they're being uncovered right now because we put the codes in the crystals, right? And so Lemurian seed, exactly. And so they are amazing. You can see rainbows inside of some of them. You can see entire galaxies. But not only that, they have codes, right? And so meditating with a Lemurian seed crystal is going to awaken and help you evolve in so many amazing ways. And you'll receive amazing downloads. And so they're the ones that look like, you know, people are going to reject them because they've got chips in them, they've got rivets, and they've got cloudy sides and bright sides and all of that in different points. But the thing is that every part of these is a code. So when you look at computers that all use crystals, like all of our tech here on this planet uses crystalline technology. Your phone's got crystal in it, your computer, all of it, right? And so when we connect with crystal, sorry?
Even the Earth has crystalline structure within it that is actually currently being activated. The biggest depository of crystals, I think, is in, what is it, in Idaho? Is it Idaho? The caves? Yeah, Idaho, right? They have the crystal caves?
Yeah, and there's a lot. So there's, in Australia, there's a lot as well, obviously. Jenolan caves, so basically any of the caves, you're going to find them. Natural caves, that is. And so also, too, there is the massive crystal, right? And they talk about this in the Pleiadian agenda, the massive crystal, which actually is in Middle Earth, and that is the source power, okay? So if you remember the movie The Dark Sun. In the sun, exactly.
It's also the inner sun, yeah.
Yeah. Big time. And it lights up the whole of Middle Earth, okay? A lot of people question, like, oh, it's a flat earth, oh, we're a dome, oh, we're a firmament. What is it? It is what it is. We're a realm. We come in through a portal and we leave through a portal, you know? Come on now. And the Divine Mother is the portal. So there is that. Oh, we have someone asking...
She's the holder of the 13th Stargate, yeah.
Yeah, she is. Indeed. A friend of ours just asked who is hosting the big meditation. I think we have some interest in other people joining.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be me, Laura, and Mick, and also Monica, because Monica is going to be the one that's going to be leading the group meditation.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to do the opening. I'm going to do the opening prayer. And then I'm going to hand it over to her, and it's going to be powerful.
Amazing. And is that live today, or?
Yeah, it's at 8 o'clock Pacific time, which is an hour from now, my time. So your time would be 1 in the afternoon.
It'll be 2.
Oh, no,
our
sorry,
time
2
in
in the
Australia.
afternoon, because... Yeah, 2 in the afternoon. But Eastern time, and then Eastern time...
Chẳng thể quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em nơi quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không còn mơ em anh nhạt màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em ai. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mơ em không mơ anh. Anh một đêm mơ chỉ cần bên em không được cần nhớ. Và chỉ thôi không muốn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã thơ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ còn với em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mơ mày. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Không em như mà hâm mộ. Anh như đứa mong cầu. Và vui bên em hút sầu. Chào các bạn mai em mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng đừng có mơ. Em vẫn đang dài. Em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn. Chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau. Mà đừng em đâu anh có em. Một đêm bên anh có em. Ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu. Ôm anh.
got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck, everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep, don't give a fuck. Can't stop, unplug, feeling over